Early Saturday morning, engineers drilling one of the 3 rescue tunnels broke through to the 33 trapped men, just as we were live on The Early Show. Dr. Jeffrey Lieberman is chief of psychiatry at Columbia University in New York.
These miners have come through this extraordinarily well because of their own internal resilience and abilities, because of the extraordinary rescue effort that was mounted by the Chilean government. But they're going to bear the scars. They're never going to be the same.
Our story tonight from NBC's Mike Taibbi.
He was an exuberant student and gifted musician who graduated high school with honors and scholarships. But there's a growing chorus of voices saying this is an incident not just of video voyeurism or cyberbullying, but of cyber gay bashing.
It's really the tools of information technology and the ability to disseminate it far and wide that's really amplified and changed this unpleasant behavior.
Welcome to our program tonight, a Charlie Rose special edition. In the 9th episode of our Brain series, we look at the mentally ill brain. Jeffrey Lieberman, he studies the neurobiology of schizophrenia and related psychotic disorders. He is a professor at Columbia University and director of the New York State Psychiatric Institute.
Well, Charlie, Ellen gave a beautiful description of the mental state of schizophrenia, and Steve has just told us that genes contribute to the risk to develop it. So what it means is that the seeds for the illness schizophrenia are really sown during early development, in gestation of the fetus and the developing brain, and it affects the way, not all cells in the brain, but a select group of neural circuits, the same kind of circuits exist in computer chips or in stereo equipment, come together and function. Now, the genes confer a certain degree of risk, which environment can either increase or can maybe reduce. So famine or nutritional deficits during exposing the fetus during pregnancy may have this effect. Exposure of the fetus to an infection, like during influenza epidemics, or toxic exposure if the mother does drugs or happens to have some type of toxic exposure, can amplify this risk.
The shooting rampage at Fort Hood, the Army missed troubling warning signs from the gunman, Major Nadal Malik Hassan. Most officials and journalists still reluctant to call what happened that day terrorism. Joining me now, Dr. Lieberman consults for the Defense Department on psychiatric issues in the U.S. military. Doctor, good to have you back with us.
Thank you. I think this incident is tragic, but it's also replete with irony because it's the individuals, medical professionals, in this case a psychiatrist, who's supposed to minister to the physical and emotional needs of people, that was the perpetrator of the crime. And if you can't rely on these people to be able to provide the support, then who are you able to rely on?
Did you hear about this story? A mom announces her toddler's death on Twitter right after the horrible accident. Shelley Ross, a popular mommy blogger, posted messages on Twitter just half an hour after her son was found at the bottom of their pool.
To give her the benefit of the doubt, you can say this is a woman who's gotten into social media, social networking in a big way. This tragedy befalls her. She reacts. She's not thinking, reasoning. She's reacting to the moment, and she does what she does normally.
But Dr. Lieberman, it makes me wonder about a whole generation of young people who are now basing their social interactions on computers instead of the human touch.
You know what this is? This is the influence of environment on evolution. So this is social Darwinian evolutionary forces at work.
Right.
We don't know where they're going to lead, and it could be good, or it could not be less adaptive.
Dr. Lieberman, thank you very much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
All right.